Guys, welcome back. Today is the day we are starting to reassemble the car. The paint is dry, and if you're just joining me, welcome to my channel. Oh my God, my phone's ringing. It is time to put the car back together. I am so pumped. Now that it's painted, we are going to start slamming things in there. I swear to God, like I just want to get this done. I need to get this car back on the ground. Oh, I can't wait. Look at it. It came out so good, the engine bay. I can't wait for it to be finished. Right, so I'll tell you what we're going to do. First things first, I want to put the oil relocation kit in. It goes down here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the lines. I went and got all these Raceworks fittings and a braided line that we're going to make up. These are dash 10 fittings to fit the oil relocation kit. So we're going to start with that. And then I want to continue going on the left-hand side of the car. Like I want to put the clutch master cylinder back in, start running the lines, plumb the lines up, put the alternator and the starter motor back in with the wiring and wire it up. And then I'll jump over to the turbo side and then we'll run the wiring loom, put the power steering bottle back, and then I want to get the turbo manifold on. That's the plan. We're going to attack the cold side and then we're going to attack the hot side and see how much that we can get done tonight. All right, so let's go. Guys, as you can see, I put on the oil relocation block and I've put all the fittings on. Now, before I run the second line, I'm going to work on the bottom down here. I'm going to put in the starter motor, alternator, and put that back together and the wiring prior to running the line to the block because I don't want to get in the way. Also, I need to take off the radiator fan because I need to change the belts. I've got brand new belts that I'm going to put on, new power steering and new alternator belt. So I'm going to take off the fan now and then I'll put the alternator starter and then I'll put the new belt on and we can continue from there. All right, let's go. Guys, we just got the inlet manifold on and it took hours on and off because of these two coolant lines that go in the back. You can't see them because there's no light back there right now, but they are a pain in the ass. Oh my God. I've never been so happy to have that thing on there. I was this close to buying an aftermarket plenum, like a G-Ready copy or something like that. Because this was doing my head in. But we got there in the end. Got the clutch master cylinder on. We've got the oil relocation kit set up, all the braided lines done, alternator, starter motor in, fuse box back in, put the fuel lines back in as you saw. Now I just got to plumb up the fuel regulator on this side and do other little bits and pieces. And then we can go over the right side to do the turbo setup. I want to get this turbo manifold on, fix the power steering bottle, fix this coolant line like I've been saying for the last 10 videos. But I want to get it all done. So slowly we're getting it. Tomorrow we're going to get back into it and keep going with it because I want to put the car back together. I am pumped. And right now it's 5 in the morning and it's time to go to bed. All right, so I'll see you tomorrow. Peace. All right, guys, so I got majority of the left side on. I got, you know, the fuel rail on, put the injectors in, ran all the lines, put the fuel filter, put the SARD fuel regulator back. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect the braided brake lines that I got for this. I deleted the hard lines that came out of the engine bay and replaced them with these GK Tech braided lines. And once we've done that, then this side is pretty much completed for now. Then I can move on to the turbo side. We can put the turbo manifold in, sit it in place, and then we're going to put the clutch, flywheel, and gearbox on. All right, so let's do it. Let's go. Alright guys, I've finished doing all the brake lines. They are done, completed. Now it's time to attack the turbo side, and here we are here. I've cleaned all this. I've got a new gasket that I'm going to put on, and it's time to get this manifold in. And for everybody that's been watching me, you know I've had dramas with this manifold, but if I got it out, I can get it in. And I've got it in the first time too, so I'll make it happen. Turbo manifold and the turbo are on, plumbed in and ready. Oh, I forgot this line. Okay, I'll put that line in a second. But yeah, that's ready to go. The left side is pretty much ready to go. Now it's time to get underneath the car, which, you know, it's about time because it's been a long time coming. But now we're going to attempt to put the flywheel and clutch on, and I'm going to try to put the gearbox in by myself. We'll see what happens. But let's start with the flywheel. Here it is here. I've got it machined. And I've got the bolts. What I'm going to do is I'm going to clean the bolts with brake cleaner, and then I'm going to fill these bad boys with Loctite and screw them in. You have to put Loctite on these because you don't want these coming undone. All right. Don't over tighten them, like, you know, like don't torque them that much that they snap. Oh, that's the worst, bro. Torque them to spec. I don't know the specs, but I'll search the manual and have a look at the specs, and then I'll torque them to spec. All right. Let's get on to doing that. And I've got the clutch over there. If you're cranking the flywheel bolts by yourself, if you're doing this by yourself, you need to hold the crank, all right? So what I did was I put the socket on the crank and put an extension with a bar and just held it up here so it's hitting up against the chassis rail. So then when you crank it, the motor's gonna stop spinning and then you can get a good torque on the bolt, all right? So I just torqued them to 127 Newton meters and that was hectic. So that's done. Now it's time to do the clutch. I've got a kit here that I've never used before. It's a lining kit tool thingy-majig. Don't know how it works. I'm gonna work it out, and if it's no good, then I'll just get, like, you know, those half shaft things that you just pop in. Yeah, if this doesn't work, I'll get one of those. But let's give this a crack and see how we go, because this essentially should help you put the pressure plate on the clutch together, and then you can just line it up, tighten the bolts up, and it should be perfectly lined with the spline for the gearbox. So all right, let's give it a crack. Guys, it is the moment of truth. It is time to put the gearbox in. All of this started because this had to come out. And it is ready to go back in. I can't wait. I am so pumped. And I hope it all works, because everybody that's been with me through this whole ordeal knows what I've gone through, and especially with this gearbox. And hopefully we have no more gearbox issues. All right, so I'm just preparing the gearbox now. I'm just making sure the bolts are tightened up, getting all the sensors ready, just double checking everything, making sure everything's greased and ready to go. And I think we are good. I've got my brother-in-law here to give me a hand and to get it in there. Let's go. in. The gearbox is in. Guys, the gearbox is done. It is bolted off. I've connected all the sensors. I've done some cable management here, cable tied everything nice and neat. So it's all done. The gearbox is done. Next to put in the tail shaft exhaust, and we have finished with underneath the car. That is crazy. I can't believe it. This has taken me, God knows how long. And yeah, it's been a hectic process, like to really rip apart my car and really understand it and really do all these things that I've wanted to do for so long. Taking the time now during this, you know, pandemic that's happening in the world to really work on it, and it's been awesome. And I can't wait to drive it again, to be honest. I'm really hanging to drive it again. I really need to test this gearbox and see if I've got any issues. I hope I don't. But all in all, I'm stoked with the way the car's turned out. And tomorrow, when we come back, we're going to finish the underneath, put the tail shaft in, put the exhaust on, and then we're going to finish the engine bay. I've got some stuff coming up for you guys. All right, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.